Yes, sir. What's going on, everyone? We are back after a short break, and we've come back with awards. This is going to be for the 2024-2025 Bundesliga season. There's not much more to say except to get to the glitz and glamour. Snooze, kick us off.
Let's dig in. Yeah, I was rusty there, giggling a little bit. I hit my mic as I was going to point the finger guns.
Yeah,
Grown man shouldn't say giggling. Honestly, I don't know why I said that. So anyway,
open the show with it. Look at you.
Oh man, welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host Snooze, and we're here with the full fam. Of course, that includes my boy Danny P on the ones and twos, Brainiac J fam in the back as well, and of course everyone's favorite hype man Vic. What you sipping on, dog?
Well, today I have something I saw on Anatomy of a Drink. If you follow their Instagram page, you know they post drinks like cocktails every single day, and so many of them. But this one's called the Pink Rabbit, and this is a mezcal, Amaro Montenegro, and a Campari drink mixed all together. Three of one of my favorite liqueurs, and all together, not so good. Not even gonna lie to you guys, but. You know what? Wow. I'm dedicated to it. I've made a commitment, and I'm going to finish it for you guys.
That's hilarious.
That's
hilarious. What?
It's stupid dry, like stupid dry.
You know?
And bitter.
Okay.
You've had Campari and Aperol. You think they're too bitter?
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. But you said mezcal, and I'm a huge mezcal fan. So
yeah, and then it's smoky at the end, so it almost tastes like an ashtray.
It's like the worst part of like, every alcohol.
There's like a nice hilarious little opening moment when you drink it, and it kind of tastes a little bit like a melted cherry Jolly Rancher, and then it goes straight into bitter, and then like an ashtray at the end because of the mezcal.
That's right. We can clip that. That was good enough. Like, take a sip. Disgusting. Don't like it. Don't recommend.
I love you guys. I'll figure it out. Yeah.
Well, as you mentioned at the top, let's jump into a bunch of different categories that we have today. So, of course, we have the Bundesliga 24-25 recap, but then we also are going to be talking about the news and notes around the leagues, and that would be La Liga, the Prem, Bundesliga, and Serie A. But before that, we haven't talked to you guys in a couple weeks, and there's some stuff that we need to do. Boots on the ground in Austin, Texas for the Austin FC Minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the boots weren't mine because they were on the ground in Colorado this past weekend as Austin took on Colorado Rapids, where they actually got a win, pulled out a win 2-0 on two basically deflected balls, but just in different ways. Danny Pereira shot from inside the 18-yard box, went off Mikael Dessler, who eventually, just pinballed into the net from there. And then not only that, Owen Wolf had a corner kick. It actually went off Brandon Hines Ike's head and then went off, I forgot his name, but he scored on us a lot. A Colorado forward's head and just straight into it was an own goal, straight into their net. So 2 goals, we'll take it. We need the 3 points. It was a good uplifting win. And man, the visiting team or the visitors visiting our Verde Nation in Colorado. Traveling supporters. There we go. I just had a blue screen right there. I'm sorry, guys. Our traveling supporters are amazing. There were so many of them out there. They were out there just doing their thing. It was great to see. But we are back home this weekend as we take on the New York Red Bulls, and they come into Q2 Stadium this Saturday night at 7:30. Of course, is our kickoff time. We do have only one other game where we played New York in Q2 Stadium, and we beat them 2-1. We are hoping to keep that rolling. And we do have Mirto Ozuni back. Mirto Ozuni was playing for the Albanian team, so he was not even on the field or with the team this past Saturday in Colorado. He will be returning and be ready to go for us against New York Saturday. So there's your Austin FC Minute. Of course, if you catch me out there, come say hi. First beer's on me.
Hey, there we go. The one thing I'll call out before I move on from this is, it's kind of scary, but also weird that the team is so reliant on Danny Barreira, as you call him, even though he's not Brazilian. I don't know why I call him that, but like how bad the team played without him, and now back to normal. We're just decent again, but he's in that midfield. So yeah, please don't lose him ever.
And I will say, I'm sorry, I know we're going in Austin FC a lot here, but I did call a 3-goal win. I was a little short because we only had one number 9, Brandon Vasquez, instead of Vasquez and Uzuni on the field. We could talk about this a lot more if you guys want to dive into Austin FC. I like diving into Austin FC stuff. We can talk about it a lot more, but I was pretty close. So yeah,
You were
all done, guys.
Okay,
we got them in and out there.
Well, now let's head across the pond. Let's talk about some news and notes from around the leagues, like I mentioned a second ago. And there's a lot going on. We're just going to go quickly through some of the stuff that's happened since the last time we talked to you guys. And we will start off with La Liga, because that's the one that has the least. Since we spoke to you last, Real Madrid, they steal Xabi Alonso from Leverkusen after Don Carlo Ancelotti leaves for Brazil. Trent Alexander-Arnold heads to Real Madrid as well. That is officially official. And if anybody saw his press conference, that boy had been training for this move for a while. Fluent in Spanish, and he just stepped foot in Spain. That is hilarious. Sergio Francisco.
Go ahead. Real quick on that. I saw a bunch of people posting how they're like, "Oh, you just speak fluent Spanish? Like that took you a while to learn." I was like, "You raggedy mother!"
Right. He wasn't even worried about it. He wouldn't hang out with no friends, man, no teammates. He was just practicing Spanish. So I mean, I've been practicing for 5 years and I'm still not as good as him. Come on.
He was pretty good.
He was pretty good. Sergio Francisco takes over for Real Sociedad, and I think that's pretty much all we got for La Liga. I think that's it. Let's move on to the news and notes from Serie A. And there's a lot of the coaching carousel is going crazy. I remember doing research going into the season that just passed, and all the coaches were switching around. It's kind of happening again. And we'll start off with the biggest news, and that's that Roma steal Gianpiero Gasperini, the Atalanta legend. He is now heading to Rome to take the reins from Claudio Ranieri, which is huge. It leaves a lot of questions, not necessarily for Roma because they're going to be awesome. They were already good with Claudio, and Gasperini is apparently a close friend of his, and this is kind of like not a favor because he wants this job. It's a bigger team per se, maybe not on the table recently, but the history of the club is bigger. But anyway, we'll just see how it goes. But for Atalanta, there's a lot of questions now. Who takes over? Do they play the same way? So much. But we'll talk about that later. Inter lose Simone Inzaghi after they lose the Champions League, and he goes to the Saudi League. Lazio sack Marco Baroni, and they hire Maurizio Sarri, who just left the club 18 months ago. So it feels like he never left. Sarri back in Lazio. Sarri? Sorry, it's hard to say that double R with not a Spanish
rolling
accent
like
Sarri. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Another big news: Napoli signed Kevin De Bruyne, and it looks like they're keeping hold of Conte. He was rumored to be maybe heading to Juve after winning the league, the Scudetto with Napoli, but he gets Kevin De Bruyne, and they're going to try to run that back. Fiorentina's manager, this is the weirdest one of them all, Raffaele Palladino, he signed a new contract just a few weeks after that, though. He resigned, and he quits. So now Fiorentina don't have a coach, and they're looking for one now. It's really weird. They get into the Conference League. They have European football next season, and he just left. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe we'll figure out by the next time we chat. We will talk about the Prem next, and Ange Postecoglou was sacked by Spurs after winning their first trophy in so many years, 41 years for European trophy and 17 for any trophy at all. But have no fear. Thomas Frank is here. They take the Brentford. I don't want to say the Brentford legend because maybe I don't know. I don't follow them that closely, but definitely one of the best coaches they've had in a while. He's taken them from, I think they were in the in League One or maybe is the lower depths of the championship, and brings them back to being a stable team in the Prem. He is now taking over the reins in North London for Spurs, and I, for one, am excited as a Spurs supporter, as a fan of the team. City, they're big spenders this summer. Before there's two windows open. I don't know if you know this. It's like the first. It usually starts in July, but now there's one right now because the Club World Cup's going on. Anyway, City are big spenders in it. They sign Ryan Aït-Nouri. I never know how to say his last name. Aït-Nouri, but he comes over from Wolves. Ryan Cherki is coming over from Lyon, and Tijani the Red-Nosed Reinders coming over from Milan. Chelsea also get a deal done with Liam Delap moving over from the relegated Ipswich Town. And we already knew Liverpool were going to get goalkeeper Georgi Marmardashvili. There you go. It's like a mouthful. Plus, I was burping. Sorry, I was trying to hide it. From Valencia. But they also brought in Jeremy Frimpong from Leverkusen. And, I mean, it's just a matter of time. I keep seeing stuff about it, but it's still not officially official. They should be announcing Florian Lil Uzi Wirtz very soon. It's just not yet. It's weird. I don't know what's going on.
Good time to be a Red. Good time to be a Red. Sorry.
Yes. Oh yeah. Hey, please talk about it. If any of those just... get a little chub, anything you want to talk about before we move on?
Yeah, of course. Like I think in the last episode we had, I said there were only 2 players in the top 5 leagues who had 10 assists and 10 goals each. One of them was Mohamed Salah. The other one was little Uzi, Florian Wirtz. And now they're both on the same team. We got Frimpong, who's going to be reunited with Wirtz. It's going to be absolutely amazing next season. We lost Trent Alexander-Arnold, but at least we have somebody who might be able to defend now. We'll see.
I mean,
it's gonna be fun.
I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on.
I won't even sense the sarcasm in there. It's all right.
There's none. United are also on the move with Mateus Cunha making the switch from Wolves to United, and it's still not officially official, kind of like the Wirtz news, but Brian Mbemo from Brentford will also be making the move to Manchester. At least that's what's expected. And since we are talking about the Bundesliga, I saved them for last because there is a lot that's going on down in Germany. And since we last spoke, Stuttgart get themselves back into Europe by way of winning the DFB Pokal, so they'll be duking it out in the Europa League. Heidenheim beat out Elversberg in the relegation playoff to stay in the Bundesliga next season. Xabi Alonso says auf Wiedersehen to Leverkusen, and his replacement will be Erik ten Hag, who, of course, was last in the Prem with Manchester United. Joe Bellingham follows his brother's footsteps in making the move to Dortmund from England. And damn, I don't know if you've seen them, but they look a lot alike. Like you would think that they're twins, maybe. Paul Simonis will take charge of Wolfsburg. Horst Stefan, Horst is like how do you get more of a German or whatever name than that, the first name. He's the manager. He was the manager of Elversberg, who we just said didn't make it into the Bundesliga. Well, he'll be taking over Werder Bremen, and it seems like he said, hey, if I don't make it, I'll just jump into a team that is there. And Sandro Wagner takes over the reins for Augsburg. And those are your changes and your news and notes from around the league. I tried to make that as quick as possible. Hey, it's not too bad. We're only 12 minutes in. Okay. Now, for what everybody came here for, let's do it. Let's jump into the 24-25 Bundesliga recap, awards, all of that stuff. And I think we have to start it off, Vic, with just a little bit about the top categories, the top 3 for goals for, goals against, golden boot, and assist leader. And let's jump into goals for first, the top 3 goals for. Hey, look at that. God, professional right there. My boys in the back. And so the top 3, we start with third, because that's, we'll tell you the first one last, even though there's not a lot of surprises in this league. Dortmund, they are third in the goals for category after the 24-25 season with 71. Second is Bayer Leverkusen with 72. So they were right there, neck and neck with Dortmund. And then nowhere near them is Bayern Munich, who ends the season with 99 goals for, which is ridiculous. I don't know the math on that, but 28 matches, Vic. 99, that's insane. The ratio of goal per game that they have there. And now the crazy part about this, Vic, is we talked about how, well, I don't want to give it away, but Dortmund won't be our most disappointing team this season. I can tell you that because there's one more team that did a little bit worse than them, actually a lot worse. But Dortmund, it's surprising to me. I was doing the research for the podcast that they were this high on the list with goals for, because it just didn't feel like they had a great season. And yes, there were some games where they blew up, but for some reason, Bayern Munich, Leverkusen, both of those teams, it feels right that they are up in the top 3. Dortmund didn't feel like that to me. I'll just leave it there. What was your take on them?
No, you're right. We didn't even talk about them that much all season, except for how they seem to be just like trying to get in and always seem to get into the Premier League. Premier League, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
To the top 4.
Champions League.
Sorry, I still got that championship on mine. Champions League. And and then of course they sneak in, but you've been saying it the past 8 weeks, the last 8 weeks of the season, Borussia Dortmund are probably going to find a way to do it. And they did.
Find a way to do it. Yeah. And it was annoying because they were disappointing the entire season, and like the last week they get in, and it's just all right. Well, I guess how are you disappointed at that? So okay, well, that is your top 3 for the goals for. Now let's go to the goals against, the top 3 in goals against, and we start with your third ranked goals against team, and that is a tie actually, Leverkusen and Mainz, which hint could be seeing one of those teams a little bit later. Both of those teams with 43 goals against. that is not a lot. I mean, we talk about it, 28 goals, so that's or 28 games, right? Because there's
34 games.
Am I saying
34? Yeah, I don't know why you're saying 28. I think 28 is
because there's 18 teams in the league, so you play however many.
No, so you play 17 teams twice. 34 games.
There you go. Okay. Well, I don't know why I'm saying 28. Anyway, well, the math was off on that last one if you did it, but you didn't, so it's all good. But still, so you can see that their defensive record is really good for Leverkusen and Mainz. And now the next team, though, which was completely surprising to me, St. Pauli is the second best defensive team in the entire Bundesliga with 41 goals allowed. That's crazy to me. I realized that they didn't score a lot. I didn't realize that they were so good on the defensive side. I mean, the second best team and the first best team, no surprise, Bayern Munich with 32. Like that's why every category they just dominated. And so but I mean, come on, St. Pauli, that's insane.
That seems like boring matches. They have 28 goals for St. Pauli and 41 against. That's like the lowest, some of the lowest on each side.
Right.
Matter of fact, 28. Bayern Munich have their gap between number 1 and number 2 is 17 goals. Like, so there's just 11 more goals that St. Pauli scored all year is the gap for Bayer Leverkusen.
It's insane.
Jesus.
I couldn't believe it. St. Pauli, that there was no way that they were going to get relegated with being that high up in the defensive record, right? I mean, they got close, but they didn't. So,
hey, Snooze, I also cannot do math. It's 27 goals. Bayern Munich and Bayer Leverkusen are separated by 27 goals, and St. Pauli scored 28 goals. That's crazy.
Well, there you go. See?
Yeah. Man, we cannot math. Look at this stuff.
I know. Yeah, this isn't a math podcast. Who cares? Someone came here for a math. So that's Leverkusen and Mainz joint third, St. Pauli, and then Bayern Munich is the best goals against. Now, let's go to the Golden Boot. And I think it's no surprise who's at the top of this list, but we'll talk about the top three, but really it's the same thing. There's a joint second. So the third ranked player, or the third person in the Golden Boot race, was Jonathan Burkhardt from Mainz with 18 goals this season, which is just insane. Not a team that you look at and think that there'd be a player that's vying for the Golden Boot. I guess that's the way you put it. But Jonathan Burkhardt, we talked about him a lot this season. He's very, very good. And he definitely stepped up his game. And we'll talk about him a little bit more in another segment. But tied for second in the Golden Boot race was Patrick Schick and Ciro Girassi. They both had 21 goals this season. Patrick Schick was just on fire for Leverkusen. And Girassi, even though he didn't hit the heights with Dortmund that he did with Stuttgart the year prior, he was still right up there, joint second. I don't know. No one's third out of Patrick Schick and him, right? They're both second. But either way, 21 goals. And of course, your Golden Boot winner for the 25-26 season in the Bundesliga, none other than Harry Kane with 26 goals. And this is back-to-back for my boy. He is killing it over there in Germany. And, not a lot to say. He's really good. Everybody knows that. Boy's got a trophy now. He's just the best. Okay, let's move it along to the assist leader, the top three assist leaders in the Bundesliga. We start with number 3, which is a guy that I was really, really high on when we were talking about this team in the mid part of the season. That is Vincenzo Grifo. He is third in the assist leader list. That's Freiburg. He's from Freiburg, or he's not from Freiburg, but he plays for Freiburg. And he got 11 assists this season. And he was also their top scorer, if I'm not mistaken. And just a really good player. And part of the reason that Freiburg are where they are, even though they have a negative goal differential, which still blows my mind. The second, the second person on the assist leader charts is none other than Florian Lo Uzi Wirtz with 12 as he heads over to Liverpool. And your assist leader in the Bundesliga for the 24-25 season is none other than Michael Olise, or Michel Olise. Is French. Do they say Michel? It's not Michel. It's spelled Michael. I don't know. Anyway, he has 15 assists in his first campaign in the Bundesliga. And this guy, we don't have this award on our show, but I've seen a lot of other shows and sites that had him pegged as the rookie of the year, if you will. It's his first season in the Bundesliga, and he was by far one of the best players in the Bundesliga. but he didn't win the best player of the season because that award goes to someone else. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment. But congrats to Michael Olise for that being the assist leader. It was kind of weird seeing him come over. I don't know if there's a lot of hype, too much anyways, coming from Crystal Palace. He was very good with Crystal Palace, but different league. How would he stack up? What's going on? Now the difference is anytime a player goes to Bayern Munich, well, not anytime. Of course, there's some flops, but they're such a better team than any of the other teams in the Bundesliga that let's be honest, they dominate. Right? We're looking at the stats right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know if we expected him to be as good and take off as fast as he had, but the fact that he is the top assist leader, what a player. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for Harry Kane and Michael Olise to see how they do next season. Vic, anything on these before we go into the main squeeze, the main awards here?
No, dude, I'm excited. Let's go on to it. We're good. We're good here.
I have some random stats that I wanted to throw out too. We had 6 manager changes in the season. During the season in the Bundesliga, which I think we talked about them all. Maybe we did, but Bochum, Hoffenheim, Dortmund, Leipzig, Wolfsburg, and Union Berlin all finished the season with the manager that they did not start the season with. So that's crazy. And then also Leverkusen now have gone 2 full seasons without losing an away game. That's 34 consecutive away games without a loss for Leverkusen. Just a random stat that I read that I just figured we'd throw in here for the Bundesliga recap, because how crazy is that? They just don't lose on the road. And they still didn't win the league this season. Okay. Vic, I'm going to let you do the honors of introducing our first award, sir.
All right, you got it. So we are going to do the 2024-2025 No Business Soccer Podcast most surprising team of the Bundesliga season. And that goes none other than Mainz. And Snooze is going to break this all down for you. Tell us about Mainz and their surprising team this year. Good job, Mainz.
Yes, and the reason they surprised us is there's a lot of things that we can talk about here. But for one, I'll say the people that the team that didn't make the list, Freiburg was one that was really close to making it. But after I was doing a little bit more digging, and it doesn't take a lot to see that negative goal differential, even though they made it into the European places. It's just they're a team. Freiburg is a team that is usually getting into Europe, whether it be the Conference League or the Europa League. They're always around that area. And this season, they were actually very close to getting into the Champions League, and they ended up not getting in there. And it just felt like it wasn't right, because Mainz is the team. They end the season in 6th. They booked their place in the Conference League, which will be just their 4th time ever competing in Europe, and their first time in Europe in nearly a decade. And the last time they finished this high in the table, unlike Freiburg, was in 2010-2011. So this isn't normal for Mainz, and that's why it was so surprising. And in 2010-2011, there was none other than a Thomas Tuchel was their manager. The guy who's he's the coach or the manager of the England international team at the moment. But the reason why this is such a good season for Mainz and a surprising season is because they've been battling relegation, and they battled relegation last season. They were 6th place finished this year, but before that, the seasons they were 15th, 14th, 12th, 13th, 12th, 8th, 9th, 13th, and then of course 6th this year. So it's not like this is something that we saw coming. I definitely didn't see it coming. And this is manager Bo Henriksen's first full season in charge. He took a team that was battling relegation at the tail end of last year all the way to Europe. And outside of the fact that they have the joint 3rd best defensive record we just talked about in the goals against category in the Bundesliga this past season, the real difference maker here on the pitch anyway was Jonathan Burkhardt. We talked about it a second ago. He was 4th or he was 4th in the Golden Boot race because there's a joint 2nd. Anyway, so the reason why they made this jump, and obviously the defensive record aside, is because last year, Jonathan Burkhardt for Mainz finished as their top goal scorer with 8 goals. Pretty good. That's pretty good. But he finishes as their top scorer this year as well, but this time with 18 goals, finishing 4th in the Golden Boot race, 10 more goals than he did last season. That's going to get you some places, let me tell you, because especially if you're winning 1-0 games, I'm not saying they did, I'm just saying that's 10 more wins. That's crazy. So Jonathan Burkhardt, well done, sir. And this ain't a fluke either, Vic, because the winter break, Mainz were in 5th, and they were looking like they were going to fight for a Champions League spot. And with 10 matches to go, actually, I remember talking about this. They were 4th. They were in the Champions League spots, 10 matches left. They obviously didn't get there, but I think it's probably better for them in the long run. They can make a better run at the Were they in the Conference League? And so, yeah, it's just going to be better for them all around. So, again, I don't know how far they'll go in the Conference League, but I don't know because I don't know if they have the squad to compete on all fronts. And you can ask Heidenheim about that. They almost got relegated. They went to the furthest point of not being relegated, actually, just about staying in the league. But what I do know is that Bo Henriksen and Mainz, they're playing great. And I can't wait to see how they do next season. I think whenever we talked about it, Vic, you were saying how like you're more excited for the competitions, the UEFA competitions next season because you watch these teams more, right? This has to be one of them. This has to be
yeah, for sure. This is one we were all high on earlier this year again when they were in that Champions League spot, and they haven't really fallen off since then. They've been a pretty good competitor, and it's going to be fun seeing them, how they stack up against everybody else, especially because we've been following Premier League, we've been following La Liga, we've been following City A and all that stuff. So we know who they're going to face. And this is going to be fun, dude. This is going to be so good. Fun.
I'm excited.
Next season. Yeah.
Might have to get a Mainz jersey. They have a cool like checkerboard, it's pretty cool.
No, yeah, they do. I might have to order that because the shirt in the box didn't work out. So
actually, no. With you, there's curses and stuff. Like, don't just go ahead and not order anything for them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's historically bad seasons whenever you get merch for a team, except for Liverpool, of course. All right.
Still have it.
Hey, yeah, I know.
Well,
let's move on then. Let's talk about our next award.
Yes. And it's not really an award because you do have the most surprising team. We have to go to the other end of the spectrum and talk about the most disappointing team of the 2024-2025 Bundesliga season, and that of course goes to, drumroll please, RB Leipzig. Yes, with an honorable mention to Dortmund on this one, which we might talk about here in just a second. But Snooze, you got to tell us why RB Leipzig let so much of us down this year.
Yeah, there's a lot to digest for this Leipzig team. And as you mentioned, it was very, very close to being Dortmund. But of course, they always find a way. As you mentioned before, they get into the Champions League at the last second. So nope, they're not on this list as the most disappointing team. That is RB Leipzig. And I don't think they need me to crap on their team more than most people already crapping on them. It's just a terrible season for them. They're seventh. They finished seventh, and that the seventh place finish in the Bundesliga means they have no European competition next season. And we all knew going in that they needed the Champions League, not just any kind of European competition will do, but they needed that Champions League revenue to sustain the squad in the way that they prepare for seasons. And seventh is their lowest finish in the Bundesliga since they were promoted in the 2016-2017 season. In fact, this season, my man, hype man Vic. I don't know what I was going to call you right there, but my boy. They had their lowest goals for ever in the Bundesliga with 53. They had their second highest goals against, so the second worst defensive record with 48, and their second lowest goal differential with a +5. And speaking of that differential, the reason why it would give you some context here, because I can say numbers, but what does it really mean? Now, let me just caveat this. Outside of Freiburg's ridiculous -4 goal differential, which what the hell? Like, that's crazy. No team with a negative differential should be up that high in going into Europe. They are. Okay, sure. So them aside, +5 was by far the lowest out of the teams that got into Europe from the Bundesliga this season, with the Champions League teams ending with +67, +29, +22, and +20 compared to Leipzig's +5. So it was just not a good season for them. And now we know that Xavi Simons was hurt for a chunk of the year. Šeško and other stars on the team didn't really pan out this season, and we know next year they could be amazing. This could be a great team. But we also know that they don't have that extra revenue stream from Europe, like we already mentioned. And so there's a lot of rumors that they could be sellers on the market this summer. And I just really am interested to see how the summer goes for this RB Leipzig team. Not to mention that at the time of recording anyway, they still haven't announced who their new manager will be. How do you recruit without knowing how they're going to play? And I mean, I think we all know how RB Leipzig are going to play, but who's the manager that's going to lead them into next season? So many questions with this team. And that is why, Vic, this is the most disappointing team of the season, Leipzig 24-25.
Makes sense. The Red Bulls of Leipzig, even though they don't like being called that. And then hopefully it might be even worse because we might be beat the New York Red Bulls for all to see this weekend.
Hey, more misery on the Red Bull
We'll try.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know they're completely unrelated. Just humor me here.
Well, they're the same parent company.
Yeah,
Red Bull. Because there's like one in Austria, one in the U.S., one in Germany. Yeah, a lot of them.
We'll hopefully try to keep that going. But unfortunate for RB Leipzig. Yes,
we know what time it is now.
But now we go to the mother of all soccer trophies this year. Snooze, we're talking, of course, about the all-important golden bratwurst that is presented to the No Business Soccer Podcast Player of the Season in the Bundesliga. And, of course, who does that go to with Snooze in charge but Harry Kane? Yes, sir, the Golden Boot winner, of course. And I don't know if we're going to have a picture of it. We might have it on a short, but I don't know. DJ Danny P might put it up here somewhere. I don't know. But Harry Kane claims this award. Tell us a little bit more. I think I said Harry claim. Harry claimed this award. Harry Kane.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does claim the award.
Claims this award. And of course, Snooze, go ahead about your man crush to us.
Yes, of course. My man crush. He's been my crush for years now. And now he's won a trophy for the first time, but now he wins probably the most important trophy in his lifetime. And that is the No Business Soccer Podcast Golden Bratwurst Award. Man, the inaugural one too. Yeah. How cool is that? One day we'll have like a little, we'll find a way to PO box it to them. But Harry Kane, man, he's just been amazing since he went over to Bayern. Well, I mean, he was amazing before he went to Bayern, let's be honest. But now he's tearing it up just as much. Harry Kane claims his second consecutive Golden Boot with 26 goals this season, as we mentioned a little earlier. And of course, this propelled Bayern to reclaim their Bundesliga title after missing out to Leverkusen last season. And of course, famously, this was his first trophy of his career. And you got to love to see it. There's just not for Harry Kane. He's, my man crush, but he's a goofy guy. So it's really cool to see he's a normal guy, family man, winning stuff like this and leading his team and country into all the battles that come. Kane's Bayern side, by the way, he didn't just win this. Michael Olise won the assist leader award. They were dominating in almost every category. We showed you the goals for, the goals. They were just by far the better team. And all of this happened, Vic, in Vincent Kompany's first season in charge. And all I remember, and I said it too, we can go back and look at the tape, Vincent Kompany coming over from a relegated Burnley side last season. It just didn't make sense. Why would they think that he was the guy to lead them? Now, he didn't win the Champions League, which I would assume is their major big goal and probably the next goal going into the 25-26 season. But as far as what they could have expected in the 24-25 season, he got them back into he got them back to the promised land with the Bundesliga title, and they went deep into the Champions League as well. So overall, I mean, there's not much better they can do in Vincent Kompany's first season when nobody really had the expectations that he would do this. Maybe they did internally inside that locker room and inside the Bayern machine, but externally, I don't think anybody saw all of this happening right away. And it's just really cool. But before we move on and close out the show, I do want to say that runners up for this award were Michael Olise, and he, like I said earlier, he got the Rookie of the Year in a lot of different establishments, I guess we'll say. He had outstanding first season in the Bundesliga with Bayern, and I can't wait to see how he does next season. The other runner-up, and I guess we'll say the top three for this award, would be none other than the man moving to Liverpool, Florian Lo Uzi Wirtz. This for him, it's just he's consistently making top-tier performances. For Leverkusen, it's just been so fun to watch. He's one of the best in the world already at such a young age. I think he's 22 years old, and he actually won Player of the Season last year. And beating out Harry Kane, so it's fine. He's already won one. He's done everything he can do in the Bundesliga, and he's moving on to the Prem, and we'll see how he does there. But this is not about any of them. This is about the Golden Bratwurst, and this is about Harry Kane, your 24-25 Bundesliga Golden Bratwurst winner for the No Business Soccer Podcast.
Congrats, Harry Kane. Congratulations are in order.
And that is it for our Bundesliga 24-25 recap. We appreciate everyone's support because this is we want to add more to this going forward. Eventually, we'll make it more of an event, more things, more awards to give out. But we wanted to do the inaugural one this season and kind of get your thoughts and your opinions on it. What else you want to see from the other leagues? We're going to kind of do this with all the rest of them. So, Vic, go ahead and close us out. Take us home, sir.
Yeah, like Stu said, go ahead and let us know down in the comments below who you think should have won the Golden Bratwurst Award, or if you agree with us that Harry Kane was the obvious winner of the Golden Bratwurst Award. I can't even talk. All this bitterness is like messing up and drying out my mouth and everything. But again, thank you guys for spending some time with us and going over these awards. We're coming to our award show for this. Please follow us on all of our social medias. Everything is at No Business Soccer Podcast, except for Twitch. And except for except for Twitter TikTok. And except for TikTok. Now, there's too many T's. Those are at No Biz Sock Pod, which you can see right here, or if you're going the other way, it's right there. That's at No Biz Sock Pod because that name was too damn long. We are going to do this for La Liga. We are going to do this for Serie A and, of course, the Premier League. So be sure to follow and subscribe. And, of course, like the video. It's the best way to support us and get us out there to show other people that what they're missing out on. I will not take up any more of your time. We appreciate it again, and we will talk to you all very soon.
Peace.